Picture a world of corporate crime, disconnected compartments, and a desperate plea. Why should your project benefits have to wait 10 whole years to prove they actually exist? In today's Explainer, we're setting a dramatic comic book stage to talk about breaking down the rigid walls of traditional benefits management and evaluation. Because let's be honest, if you've ever felt like your project's supposed value just magically vanished into thin air the second the delivery team packed up their desks, you're absolutely gonna love this.
Every city has its underworld, right? So let's paint a picture of our fictional corporate metropolis. Welcome to Delivra. Now, in Delivra, the underworld doesn't deal in stolen jewels or robbed bank vaults. No, it deals in stolen certainty. And the mastermind behind this? Meet our villain, Lord Silo. Now, Lord Silo doesn't blow things up. He doesn't need to. His method is way quieter and, honestly, far more effective. He destroys business value simply by building invisible walls. He locks project teams in one compartment, shoves benefits managers in another, and the evaluators, well, they're locked in a third room way down the hall, and they're only let out once the building has already been demolished and rebuilt twice.
The sheer scale of Lord Silo's damage is, frankly, staggering. Just look at a recent connectivity study of nearly 900 average enterprise applications. Barely a quarter of them were properly integrated with anything else. The vast majority of these siloed system initiatives, they either fail completely or they just kind of limp over the finish line half-finished. Lord Silo has been very, very busy keeping us all disconnected.
Okay, let's dive into the stakes here, because they are cataclysmic. 12%. According to PMI's global research, 12% of all project investment is just lost to poor performance every single year. We are literally talking about trillions of pounds worldwide just evaporating into the ether. And it's happening entirely because of the walls keeping our teams and our data apart.
Section 1. The villain's masterpiece, the miracle logic model.
So how exactly does he get away with it? Well, you've probably seen the miracle logic model in action yourself. It's that highly suspicious moment in pretty much every business case where an unexplained arrow quietly jumps from, hey, we did some basic outputs, straight to, boom, £2 billion in value just materialized. There's absolutely zero evidence in between. Nobody can quite explain how it actually happened, mainly because Lord Silo made sure nobody was watching the gap. The evaluators are locked out until the project is totally finished, and by the time an evaluator finally gets sent in, usually years later when the evidence is stone cold and the key people have long since moved on, Lord Silo is already 3 cities away setting up his next set of walls.
The disconnect is so profound, it's actually almost comical. There's this old joke in the case files. Lord Silo's lawyer argued his client couldn't possibly be guilty of compartmentalizing benefits because he'd never actually kept them in the same room as the evidence. It's a funny little quip, for sure, but it hits the nail on the head regarding just how fractured traditional project delivery and evaluation have become under his rule. Section 2. The hero emerges. VERITAS. Named after the Latin word for truth, VERITAS brings a totally revolutionary philosophy to the fight. Investigate the heist while it's still in progress. Catch the benefit before it can be spirited away into the silo. Now, every great hero has an origin story, right? VERITAS actually used to be a conventional evaluator, but grew deeply frustrated by filing these endless post-mortem reports that absolutely nobody bothered to read, usually on massive portfolio failures. The ultimate breaking point? The day a £2 billion portfolio's expected benefits turned out to be nothing more than 3 PowerPoint slides and a hopeful shrug. Yep, that was the day VERITAS stopped waiting for permission to look. Section 3. The 4 superpowers.
Now, what's really interesting here is how you fight a villain like Lord Silo. VERITAS relies on 4 distinct superpowers to get the job done. First up, we've got evidence vision. Think of this as the hero's laser eyes. VERITAS does not accept a benefit claim on blind faith. This vision cuts straight through vague, fluffy claims to what is actually provable right now, not in year 10. This is continuous evidence collection in action. And the data absolutely backs up this instinct. Organizations that take the time to define clear, quantified success criteria before a project even starts, they succeed at roughly 4 times the rate of those that just wing it.
Power number 2 is foundation strength. Think of this as super strength, the power that physically demolishes Lord Silo's walls. VERITAS uses this in the opening move, the Combined Theory of Change workshop. This literally forces the benefits people and the evaluators into the exact same room, whether they like it or not. Suddenly, benefits aren't just bolted on as an afterthought. They're identified straight from the outcomes in a shared logic model from day one.
The third power is portfolio flight. This lets Veritas rise above a single project or a single tranche to see the entire program all at once. Flying high above the landscape lets our hero do something a lone project never ever can: run a feedback loop. So, if one tranche's benefits come in totally outside the expected parameters, Veritas can swoop right in and correct the next tranche before the entire program is finished and it's way too late to fix anything.
And finally, the fourth power: refine and update. This is Veritas's signature rewind move. Instead of waiting until the end to discover the business case was completely wrong when it's totally unchangeable, this power loops back mid-flight. It uses the gathered evidence to update the benefits profile in real time. It's effectively rescoping the project where reality and the original business plan have naturally drifted apart. As you can imagine, Lord Silo absolutely hates these powers. Rumor has it, Veritas's arch-nemesis once tried to disable those laser eyes by hiding behind a stakeholder RAG report. Well, it didn't work, because RAG reports are famously see-through. It's just a great, funny reminder of how superficial traditional corporate reporting can be when it isn't backed up by continuous real-time evidence.
Section 4. The Case Files. Execution on the ground. So how do we actually catch Lord Silo in the act? Stepping out of the theoretical for a second, here is the 5-step master plan. Step 1. The Theory of Change Workshop. This gets everyone mapping the problem to the impact together. Step 2. Baselining and scoping. This sets testable baselines so Lord Silo can't quietly move the goalposts later on. Step 3. Streamlining governance to merge duplicated efforts. Step 4 is continuous evidence collection, creating natural evidence points mid-delivery so we don't have to wait till the end. And finally, Step 5. Refine and update. This closes the cycle by feeding that crucial reality check evidence straight back into the benefits profile.
Speaking of Step 3, streamlining governance, that relies on a single artifact called the BMARP. That's the Benefits Management Approach and Realization Plan. Someone once asked Veritas why the BMARP was so heavy. Turns out, it was carrying the weight of every duplicate meeting it had just made obsolete. It brilliantly merges those separate, siloed documents and exhausted PMO meetings into one single transparent place that anyone can check.
But here's a really critical point to keep in mind. The core philosophy of Veritas is adapt, not adopt. Veritas doesn't force full compliance with some rigid, heavy template for every single project. You've got to tailor the method to the scale of the crime. Smaller jobs? They just get light principles, the core ideas. But major programs, they get the full badge and case file. It's all about being practical, not bureaucratic.
Section 5. The final verdict.
Every single case closed by Veritas proves one incredibly vital thing. Organizations do not have to choose between waiting a decade for results or just crossing their fingers and hoping a miracle logic model saves them. When you apply this superhero mindset, the tangible business results are crystal clear. You get evidence-led accuracy through really robust social research methods. You gain operational efficiency thanks to way fewer duplicate meetings. You get real-time reporting as things actually happen. And most impressively, you start quantifying the intangible. You can actually track those soft behavioral shifts that usually just get waved away as untrackable. Ultimately, you create a massive cultural shift. You move away from mere blind compliance, and you build a team that actually wants to know if its work landed successfully.
Which brings us to our final thought. Every organization has a Lord Silo operating somewhere in its structure, quietly building invisible walls and separating your benefits from your delivery. So, the question is anyone evaluating your crime while it's still in progress? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you the superhero vision you need to break down the silos in your own projects.